slideshow with you. And so, again, I'm part of the computer science department at SUNY Plattsburgh, and I'm very happy to speak with you today. We have four main majors that our department offers: computer science, computer security, information technology, and robotics. And we offer the robotics program uh, in cooperation with the physics department. The computer science major, we have a Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. And the main difference is just how many upper level elective credits you take. And if you want to, we can look at the major descriptions in detail. But in general, there's about 40 to 50 credits in the computer science major itself, which isn't a lot. There's computing is a huge field, but the idea is these are the core classes, and for the majors we focus on what's the minimum, what's the core that you need to take, and then most of our students take additional elective classes that fit their interests, because there's a lot of things that you can do in computer science and computing in general, and it's too hard. There's not one path that's right for everybody. So a lot of people have different interests, and so we try to make it possible to get the major, and then to also concentrate in the courses that you enjoy and that you want to do. Um, there's a lot of, so computer science is kind of the traditional degree. It's kind of the generalist type of degree in the computing field, and probably the main job category for students coming out of this is as a software developer, and that's where in general the most jobs are. And kind of the forecast for job growth in this area is strong, about over 20%, and over almost 300,000 jobs in over a 10-year period. Again, computer science, with a computer science degree, you can go in almost any direction. If you look at job ads, typically they'll say that computer science or a related degree. So it's accepted for lots of different career paths. And so software developer is the main one. If you want to do data scientist, uh, this would be the most appropriate major that we have also. And a lot of students, or some students, decide to go into grad school. We also have a computer security degree, and that's probably our second most popular major. And the computer science security degree is a mix of computer science and kind of information technology, focusing on the security aspects of things. So we look at what are the theoretical and foundational things you need to know from computer science, and then what are kind of the applied practical things you need to know from like the information technology area. In general, it's a slightly larger major, um, and the idea is we have a core set of classes, and then you choose a concentration in like threat analysis or intrusion detection, privacy or liability, and you do another 10 or 12 credits within that concentration. Again, because with computer security, there's lots of different directions you can go, and we want to provide the flexibility to pursue what you're interested in. Probably the most popular or the biggest career path out of computer security is as an information security analyst. And that's where you're working like in a security operations center or just for a company, trying to figure out what the risks and threats are against the company and how to best address those. Another type of job would be like a network engineer. And again, all of our programs prepare students for grad school if that's what they're interested in pursuing. Information technology is kind of the core of these classes is a bit smaller, um, and the idea in information technology is it's still a technical strong program, but instead of creating software like you would be in a computer science type of major, it's more about configuring and applying and deploying software systems to meet an organization's needs. And so you still have to have a strong understanding of things, but it's a different type of skill set. There's still a good job growth in this area, and but it's not as big of an area, let's say, as software developers. It's some of the students who choose like an information technology path. They enjoy computing, they enjoy working with the technical things, but they don't necessarily enjoy writing software programs, and that's perfectly fine. Um, and there's still a lot of need for students in these different areas too. So like system administrators is probably the typical type of career. A network administrator or help desk technician. Another one is a systems analyst. And what a systems analyst does is they talk to users and they help, in some sense, translate what a user needs into what the software needs to do. Because sometimes there can be a mismatch or a miscommunication that occurs between the users of a system and the software developers. And so systems analysts help bridge that communication gap. Our newest major is a robotics major, and this is also our largest major. It's there's a lot of credits associated with it just because there's so much to do, um, to get a good background in robotics. We have one of the few undergrad robotics programs, uh, in the country. It's there's starting to be a few, but it's something that we're relatively unique in, and so we're pretty proud of this program, and it's been growing pretty well. Uh, this is a program we're offering in cooperation with the physics department, and what happens is we cooperate on the core courses, and then there's a concentration that students take either in programming or in hardware. And so like most of the programming courses are in the computer science area, and the hardware courses are more in the physics area. There's a lot of hands-on kind of experiential work that's with this major, and we focus on kind of small commercial off-the-shelf systems, so like our Raspberry Pis, our Arduinos, small drones, and autonomous vehicles. So not like the big industrial robotics that some programs focus on. We're more focused on small systems that you're more likely to encounter in the day-to-day world. We we do have a lot of experiential or applied learning opportunities within our programs. Both, uh, I'd say probably like 10% of our students do 10 internships. Typically, these are with organizations and companies in the areas where they live and spend their summers. We also have faculty who are actively engaged in research, and students sometimes participate and get engaged with that research also. We also have a number of group um, applied learning opportunities. One that's relatively new and has been going pretty well is a set of 3 tech startup courses. And the idea is in a traditional uh, kind of say software engineering course or project course, by the time it's a 1 semester course traditionally, and the problem is that in 1 semester you don't have enough time to get up to speed on the project and get going, and then really learn all the things that you would in a that, that's involved in a software development process. And so the tech startup courses are courses that span multiple semesters. So it's like one project, and then you can take this course multiple times to keep working on that project so that you learn about the development process through a larger life cycle, uh, to give you a more realistic experience of what it is to work on a software project. And so those have been going really good, and it's been an exciting uh, it's exciting to see it work well. This is these courses that we're offering. This tech startup uh, idea is something that's pretty unique. I don't think that there's any other um, colleges that are offering anything exactly like this, and so I think that's been a great experience for the students. We also have a Center of Cybersecurity and Technology. Um, that many of our students participate in, mostly the computer security students, but it's open for any of our students to participate in. And this is just an environment where students can get experience with cybersecurity tools in a safe environment where they're not going to cause damage or to get in trouble, um, using those tools. And then we also have kind of traditional software project or studio courses where in a, during a semester you work in a group and you create a new project together. The we have some active student groups on campus. So we have a software engineering club who they invite speakers, and they like last spring 2019, they hosted a hackathon for students in the region, and they go to job fairs and stuff like that. They haven't been going places so much lately with the virus, but they're still active. And then we have another group. Uh, they call themselves the Coding Hub, and they're just focused on improving their software development skills and getting practice on writing software and code. And they've been doing some neat things by creating software to support like the local student association and trying to tackle real world types of projects. Um, so for new students coming in, the if you're not if you don't have a computing background, we would say pre-calculus or intro to computing in the web class might be good options to start with coming in the spring. If you have some more background, then the intro to programming course and the street math class would be good options. And then if you do have some college credits already and you have some computing background, then what we would do is we would look at your individual background and decide which courses would work for you and would fit your where you're at in your college career. So that's the my my presentation or introduction, let's say, and I'm very happy to answer questions.
Great, thank you, Dr. Hart. I will take a look here. I'll read a few of these off. The first question is it possible to have a network security and business major? If so, could you please explain how that works?
Sure. So let me share a screen again. Um, so it's possible so like the computer security major. Um, so like this is the description of the computer security major requirements, and so basically you just check all these off, and the security major is 51 to 55 credits, and then let me pull up the other one. Um, and so like a business major, um, there's different business majors. So like one, I know that we've had students double major with is management information systems. And so like this is their requirements. The it'd be tight in some sense. So there's 120 credits that are required for an undergraduate degree, and so like in computer security, the major requirements are about 51 to 55 credits, and then for like an MIS degree, it's 66 to 67. There might be some courses that we can double count, or that there might be some overlap. And then we also have the gen ed credits. So again, there can be overlap between the gen ed courses and the major courses. So kind of the question is, can you fit them all into 120 credits? And maybe, I think the answer is maybe. It would depend somewhat on which business degree you're looking at, and then just to look to see places that we could find overlap and to match things and to try to fit it within there. You can take more than 120 credits, but I know most students try to graduate as soon as they can because college is expensive, and you want to start your careers and in your lives and stuff, and that's very understandable.
Absolutely. All right. I have a question about a finance undergrad course. We're going to skip that question for now. Dr. Hart doesn't deal with finance undergrad students, I would imagine. If I'll post my email address here in the chat, and if you want to reach out to me personally, I can get you in touch with someone to speak about our finance and economics programs and things like that. I have another question here. How many classes are required of physics and chemistry for computer science undergraduate program? I guess they're asking, are physics and chemistry needed for computer science program?
Not for the computer science major. So for the robotics major, there's 8 credits of physics and no chemistry required. And then for the general education requirements, there's a natural science requirement, and you can take physics or chemistry, but they're not required. There's other options that you can pursue.
Okay. Let's see. Do you have any track or course with AI as the main focus? And could you say a little something about the prospects in AI? Maybe that means like job opportunities, or
Sure.
maybe where to go with AI.
Sure. We don't have any programs. We have a course, but and it's an area that we'd like to expand in, but we just haven't had the staffing or the ability to do any expansion. I think it's an interesting area. A lot of the current AI work does stuff with statistics, and so I would work on getting a good math background for that stuff. But unfortunately, we don't have as much in that area as I would like.
That reminds me of a question I had. You just mentioned having maybe a good math background for something. So if I was an international student, or any student really, and I was going to come study computer science or computer security or any of those fields,
Right.
what would be the best? Is there something I could do to prepare myself before while I'm in high school, or while I'm in kind of, a lot of students are taking time off right now because of COVID, right? So while
Right.
I have this time, is there anything I could do to prepare myself for for starting that program?
Sure. So we have pre-calculus as a prerequisite for our intro to programming class. And so pre-calculus is kind of the bare minimum for all of our majors. The computer science major has a Calc 1 and then either linear algebra or Calc 2 requirements for math. The robotics major goes through Calc 2, has Calc 1 and Calc 2, and then I'm actually blanking if they, I have to double check if they do differential equations also. Um, we do within the majors, we have some discrete math classes. So either one or two discrete math classes you would take. And then we also have kind of like a probability type of course. It's called data modeling and analysis. And as I was mentioning, for AI work, and also I think for computer security, a good, strong understanding of probability and statistics is very useful. And so I think all those are, I don't know. I was a double major myself with math and computer science, and so in my experience, math is a great complementary field to computing programs.
Okay. So that kind of, I have a kind of a follow up to that then. What is when it, what have you seen, I guess, in the past as one of the biggest challenges for incoming freshman students in this field?
So I would say, for incoming freshman students, just what the computing is writing software is it isn't as easy as it might seem, um, because what has to happen, so computers are very fast and they're very good at doing calculations, but you have to be very, very precise at what you tell them to do. And so when you're writing a program, it's like those stories where you get wishes, but if you don't word the wish correctly, you get something that you don't want. You get the opposite of what you want.
Right.
And so writing software is like writing out those wishes. You have to be so precise. You have to be so careful in how you say things. Um, it takes practice, and you know, I know nowadays, people think that you can just Google answers and you're all set. But really, software development and programming is a skill, like playing the piano or something like that. And you just have to put time in and practice. And although it might not work perfectly the first time, the it's just a practice, and it's just trying over and over, and you get better. And it's nothing. There's nothing magical in some sense about learning how to program and to do it well. It just takes time and effort to develop that skill. And so I think a lot of people don't realize that, and they come in and then they say, "Wow, it's hard to really be that precise." I have a vague idea of what I want something to do, but to really say exactly what I mean is tough, and they kind of give up. And so I think the hardest thing is just not to give up, just to try. And a lot of times when I think about uh, taking on something new, or if I'm in a new situation, I say, uh, there's thousands or millions of people who've been in this situation before, and they've gotten through it. And so I don't have any reason to think that I can't get through it too. And there's millions and millions of people who can write computer software, and there's not many people who can't write it. It's just a question of, do you want to put the time in to learn how to do it and to develop that skill?
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, I'm glad you said that. It's just with anything else. I mean, to get good at something, you have to practice it. And, you're gonna have mistakes. And mistakes are how we learn. And it's frustrating, but mistakes are actually good things. My
Sure.
supervisor just said to me last week, she said, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. Um, and
Yeah.
I,
No,
I
I
really like
agree.
that. I really like that saying. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Great, that's awesome. Um, I don't know. Are there any other questions out there from our students? Anything about the different focuses, computer science, computer security, IT, robotics? Is there anything I can answer as far as admissions or anything like that?
So, so I see one about the physics and chemistry.
Yep.
Um, there's no physics and chemistry required for computer science. Um, you, it's an option that you can take for general education, but there's none required. And as far as the AI and computer science, we have one course right now, but we don't. It's not as big of a it's not a large part of our current program. Oh, so what part of computer security is included in computer science? Okay. Um, so, oh, I need to share the screen. uh, one, 1 second. Let me find that. Okay. So here's the major requirements for the computer security program. Um, so we kind of have an introduction to the major or to computing for people who aren't used to it. And so these are common with pretty much all of our computing classes. This class is common with computer science in that this is a just an introduction to our lab environment. We use Linux in our lab, and many people aren't familiar with that as a system. Uh, 152 is not common with computer science. That's a course just in computer security, and that looks at the social engineering side and the kind of the people side of computer security. And so this is kind of another introductory course. It's a you can think of it as a non-technical survey of computer security, just because like 40% of computer security problems are not technical. There's somebody calling somebody up on the phone and saying, "I lost my password. Can you give it to me?" And they're not really the person who owns that password. You know, uh, then these next classes. So these classes here are all in common with the computer science degree. So our introduction to programming course and our discrete math course and a C programming course and a second discrete math course are all courses that are shared with computer science degree. The data modeling course is an alternative type of advanced math class. Um, so you can take the discrete math, and this one isn't shared, and so that's an option. The system administration course isn't shared with computer science, but it is shared with like the IT side of things. Computer organization and software engineering are shared with computer science. And then like the project management course is an option here, and it's shared with the IT degree. And then the computer security degree or computer security course is not shared with the computer science, um, but the ethics uh, and the operating systems courses are shared with computer science. And then the computer network degree is shared with the IT degree. The and then the concentrations. I won't go through all those, but there's some that overlap and some that don't. Um, to some extent, like the threat analysis overlaps more with the IT degree. Reliability overlaps more with computer science. The privacy overlaps more with computer science because it's kind of has more of a focus on data mining. And then intrusion detection is kind of a mix between computer science and IT as far as overlaps. And then, although there are overlaps, there's kind of upper level computer security specific courses that don't overlap with IT or computer science. And so you take a few of those too. Um, okay, if so, that's my initial answer there. If you, I'm happy to give more on that, but uh, we'll leave that as a start.
Okay.
Um, so the next question I see is, can we do a double do double major in finance and computer science? And I've had, yeah, yes, it's possible. I'm pretty sure I remember at least one or two students in the past couple of years who have done that. Um, so it's, again, I think the trick is trying to see how well you can fit everything into, the least number of semesters you can. But it's certainly possible.
So to follow up on that, if a student wanted to double major in something, say finance and computer science, how would they go about um, lining that up? They would speak to the department chairs, correct? Or
Yes. So generally, when you come in, you choose one major, um, and you just kind of declare that major as the one that you're interested in. And then to add the second major, as Peter mentioned, you just contact the department chair and you know check with them to see if it's okay to add that. And usually, what the department chair is looking for is just making sure that you have the right background, or to kind of give you some initial advice about what courses you should start off with, or any other things to get you situated um, or, for that.
yeah, so to follow up on that, like when you complete an application and submit it to us, it'll ask you for your major. And maybe, you have in your head, you say, oh, maybe, computer science or finance, computer science, which one do I want to choose? Well, just choose one. Just choose one so we can process you and get you your visa and all that. And when you're here, if you want to, switch area of focus, or if you want to double major or something like that, you'd work with the department chairs and academic advisors to help you, determine the best path for you.
Yeah. It usually, when people are first coming in, it's not a big deal
Right.
to make that change. Usually, more of the uh, usually there's more feedback. Like if a student is a junior and they only have like 2 or 3 semesters left, and they want to switch,
Yeah.
then the department chair, will talk to them about the feasibility of graduating on time before they actually make the change. And that's
Yep.
a lot more where the department chair is providing, I would say, significant feedback to the student.
Right. And so to add on to that, I would suggest, um, working with the academic advisors and talking with your professors early on in your process. I mean, don't be a stranger.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
best part about SUNY Plattsburgh is that you can interact with professors and staff very easily, and I would recommend doing that from the beginning, so you're not taken by surprise, in the end. Yeah.
yeah.
I have another question here. Is mathematics a requirement for computer security courses?
Okay. So the so I just realized I still have the screen share on. So for the math requirements for computer security, just the pre-calc is what's required to some extent. And then we also have there's two other, really they're math courses, but we do them inside the computer science department. And one is a discrete math course, 217. And then you would either take the second discrete math course or the data modeling and analysis course. And so there's pre-calc plus two other math classes that are within the computer science department.
Okay. And I have a question here. What do we research in the field of computer science?
There's a huge there's a huge number of things. I mean, the field has grown greatly. Um, at SUNY Plattsburgh, um, the what people are interested, what the faculty do research in. We have one faculty member who does who works with the robotics types of stuff, and so they're working on programming small, like Arduinos and Raspberry Pi type robots to do various tasks. We have another faculty member who did like some bioinformatics type of work and has background in that area. We have another professor who has been so he's been working on file systems, on parallel file systems. So um, like how the data is stored on your hard drive, and looking at how to make sure that that's reliable and that works correctly. We have another faculty member who his work has been more on like logic and proofs and more theoretical computer science type of stuff. We have a faculty member who's interested in computer vision and has been doing some work on like image recognition and computer vision types of things. For myself, I've done some computer security type of research and information visualization and distributed systems uh, types of things. It's for myself, I've varied what I've worked on over time. Um, and then we have one other who's mainly he hasn't done a lot of research per se. He's coming from industry, and so he's done a lot more just practical software development, and he has a lot of experience with those types of projects. Um, in the field in general, computer science, almost anything technology related, there's research related to it. So it's a huge field. Um, the next question I see is which programming language will be the main focus? So our introduction courses are Python based, and so Python's a very nice language, for getting started and used to programming. Uh, we regularly offer C and C++ as classes, and then we've often, usually like once a year, we have a Java class. This year, we're doing an Android specific course instead of just regular Java as a language. And then in the past few years, we've also done like JavaScript as a programming language course. Um, I think those have been the main ones recently. So,
Okay. I see a question here about what AP courses do you recommend for computer science?
so there's nothing. I think just doing as much as you can, is good. There isn't, I would say, a specific one that's required. The more you do, the better you come in prepared. The sooner you can get started on more exciting courses and stuff. Um, you know, college, uh, to me, college is a set of opportunities for students, and so um, it's you want to make the most of your time here as you can. And so the more preparation you have coming in, the more interesting and exciting things you can do while you're here. Uh, we have most of our students don't come in with AP courses, and that's fine. We have the the classes and stuff to get them up to speed. But the more you come in with, then the more things you can do while you're here. So,
Yeah. Now, I've noticed a couple questions here from the same student. I think we really need to address this because they're very curious about the stock market and they want to be a trader. And Dr. Hart, I think we could get an inside track here in the future for our own stock portfolios if we help this student out. So they're asking which CS program will help as a trader in the stock market, as well as an investor in the future. What should I opt for in CS if I want to be a trader and investor?
okay. So I think um, statistics and probability are very so probably the math classes, as much math as you could take, I think would be the, if you're looking to go into stock trading, is the as a thing. The you know there's a lot of Wall Street already, the stock um, market area already have a lot uh, of that type of software and stuff in place. And so like I think it'd be hard to discover or to write a small program that would totally take over the world. Um, but I think learning about statistics and probability and differential equations and all sorts of stuff with that. Uh, Basically, as much math as you can would be useful. The programming part um, probably isn't as essential. What's really happening is if you want to do good as a market trader, then you want to be able to understand both individual stocks and the stock market as a whole. And that means, in some sense, being able to understand and recognize patterns.
Yeah.
Um, and so, kind of that math background would be useful. You could, we have some classes on, we have a class on data mining um, that you could take, and that might help you look for trends or kind of information that's not apparent. But again, the state of where they're at now is there's a lot of very sophisticated work already being done. And so, you could take some classes that would help you prepare to go and get started working for those companies. But if as an individual trader, there probably won't be enough to help you make it on your own.
And if you do detect any patterns, I will be sending my email address to you shortly. Uh, do you have any courses in graphics, computer programming, and CUDA programming? You
Sure.
probably know what that means better than I do.
Yeah. So we do have a graphics course. We haven't been offering it uh, about once every couple years. We've been offering it, so it's not as frequently offered of a course as we would like. I think we offered it last year, um, and so hopefully we'd offer it next year. Um, we don't, we do a little bit of work with that. I don't remember if they used the CUDA environment last time or not. Um, so we have a little bit. I would say we have a little bit in that area, but not a lot.
Okay, and which programming language will be the main focus?
Yeah. So Python is the our introductory language, and so you use that probably for the first two courses, and then for the most part, you can use whatever language you want. Like if you're working on a team, then you'd have to agree with the team on what language you're using on a group project. But in general, the faculty are flexible in terms of what language you use for the later courses.
Okay. One other one here. What are the job opportunities and company placements from this university in the computer science and tech field?
Okay. So we don't have placements per se, um, but almost all of our students get jobs within a couple months of graduating, or sometimes uh, months before graduating. Um, so it's the market has still been strong for students graduating in computer science and IT and computer security degrees. To some extent, the students who've had the most trouble are the local students because we're in a somewhat rural area. There's not a lot of tech companies in this immediate area. And so for students who are local to this immediate area and they don't want to move, there's not as many job opportunities. But for students who are flexible in terms of where they go geographically, um, there hasn't been any trouble with getting jobs.
Another question here. Do you have data science?
Yeah, we don't have undergrad degree in it. We have some courses that are related to it, like the data modeling and analysis class. We have a database class. So we have some courses related to it, but we don't have an undergrad degree. There is a master's degree related to that offered through the business school. Um, so a
Yeah,
little bit, but not too much.
I can touch on that too real quick. I'm actually in the process of scheduling a webinar similar to this with our business program. And Dr. Ron Paul is the head, I think he's the head of that data analytics program.
Yes.
And he can talk all about that. So I will be in touch with Pratham and Payal, and they can get in touch with you for the next webinar. I think it should happen next week. We're finalizing a date and a time, so please stay tuned to that, and we can get you more info on that data analytics stuff. Um,
So, regarding the AP courses, uh, there isn't a specific one that I recommend. I think do as much as you can, but there's not a critical one that to take.
yep. All righty. We've got just a couple more minutes here. If there are any other questions, we'd be happy to answer them for you. Um, if not, I plan on sending out an email to all of you. I'm going to put some links. I'll put Dr. Hart's email, my email, international admissions. I can link up to the computer science programs here on our webpage so you can look at those. Does computer science program include JavaScript?
Sometimes we have a JavaScript course. We don't. It's not a core course, but it's an elective course that we try to offer when we can.
Okay. Anything else out there? All right. Well, I think that's good for this morning. Dr. Hart, thank you for your time and
Sure.
information. Again, all of you students out there, I will send you an email with a bunch of links and stuff. Don't hesitate to contact me or Dr. Hart if you have any other questions about any of this. And everyone stay safe out there, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day.
Bye-bye.